When the justice system failed her, one mother refused to let go. In a town that had turned its back, she opened a door no one dared to, chasing shadows, piecing together fragments, and confronting a nightmare face to face. This is the true story of how one woman found her daughter's killer after everyone else gave up. It was a crisp October evening in 2006. The town of Meadowbrook, Missouri, was winding down for the night. The leaves had begun to fall, and Halloween decorations fluttered in the wind. But at 9:37 p.m., a frantic 911 call would break the peace. A woman's scream cut short, then silence. Police arrived at the scene, 847 Juniper Street. Inside, they found 24-year-old Heather Carlisle, murdered in her own apartment. The young single mother had been stabbed 7 times. Her daughter, 4-year-old Lily, was found in the closet, clutching a stuffed animal, silent, traumatized, but alive. No signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no weapon, just questions and pain. Neighbors were questioned. Some heard the scream. One thought they saw a man leaving through the alley, but the details were vague. The investigation ramped up quickly, but as the hours turned into days, evidence remained scarce. At Heather's funeral, friends and family struggled to comprehend. How could such a loving mother be taken in such a brutal, senseless act? The small town of Meadowbrook began locking its doors a little tighter. Heather was sunshine, always smiling, always helping someone. Her death, it ripped through this town like a storm we never saw coming. For months, detectives chased leads. They questioned Heather's ex-boyfriend, her co-workers, even strangers she may have crossed paths with. They consulted forensic experts, reviewed surveillance footage from nearby stores, and collected DNA samples. But every path led to a dead end. Eventually, the case was labeled unsolved. Time passed. The town forgot. But one person never did. Heather's mother, Diane Carlisle. You don't forget something like that. Every morning, I woke up thinking maybe today would be the day we found something. But it never came. So I stopped waiting. She transformed grief into purpose. Diane refused to let her daughter's murder fade into silence. She moved in to care for Lily, but every day she saw Heather's eyes in that little girl's face. She couldn't accept that her daughter's killer was out there, living free. So Diane did what no one expected. She became a detective. She read every report, every statement. She filed FOIA requests. She mapped timelines. She kept a giant corkboard in her basement covered in notes and strings connecting names, photos, addresses. I treated it like a job. From 9 to 5, I was either caring for Lily or reading something related to Heather's case. Every single day. She wasn't obsessed. She was determined. And slowly, she started seeing what the police missed. She interviewed old neighbors, revisited timelines, cross-referenced apartment maintenance logs, and even dug through archived utility work orders. While reviewing Heather's apartment layout, Diane fixated on one detail. An open drawer in the kitchen. Seemed minor, but something about it felt wrong. That drawer held old mail, receipts, and, importantly, Heather's spare key. Diane checked the evidence log. The key wasn't listed. Had the killer used it to enter? Then she remembered Heather mentioning a maintenance man who creeped her out. Once, she caught him lingering near her mailbox. He was never interviewed. His name was Todd Granger. Todd had worked at Heather's building for less than 6 months. Fired for stealing supplies, he vanished shortly after Heather's death. Diane tracked him through public records, old addresses, even MySpace. She found him living in Arkansas. Different name, same face. She turned her findings over to the police. Again. But the case remained closed. So Diane did something bold. She went to see him. I told myself I just needed to see him. See his eyes. If I could just look into his eyes, I'd know. She waited outside his apartment complex for hours. When he emerged, she followed, heart racing. She watched him enter a corner store. As he came out, she stepped forward. Do you remember Heather Carlisle? He froze. The bag in his hand dropped. I don't know who that is, he stammered. But his eyes told a different story. Diane snapped a photo. turned and left. It wasn't proof, but it was something. Using the photo, Diane hired a private investigator. They discovered Todd had changed his name to Thomas Grant. He had a record domestic abuse in 2009. Suspended sentence. A match was found between his DNA, obtained from discarded trash, and partial skin cells on Heather's necklace clasp. That was enough. Police reopened the case. A detective on the cold case team later admitted they had overlooked Todd due to a clerical error. His employment records were misfiled. Had Diane not pursued her own investigation, the truth might have stayed buried. It's rare to see a civilian build a case this tight. Diane didn't just point us in the right direction. She practically carried the file to court. In 2019, 13 years after the murder, Todd Granger was arrested for the murder of Heather Carlisle. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Lily, now a teenager, testified that she saw a man with a moon tattoo on his hand the night her mom died. Todd had that tattoo. Courtroom sketches captured Diane's tear-filled eyes as the testimony played out. The prosecution built a solid timeline, supported by forensics, Lily's memory, and Todd's history. The jury deliberated for just 4 hours. Guilty. Life in prison. You stole a life. You shattered a family. And justice demands accountability. You will serve a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Diane stood outside the courthouse. She held Lily's hand. She'd done it, not just for Heather, but for every mother who ever lost a child to violence and was told to move on. Diane didn't move on. She moved forward. And in doing so, she brought a killer to justice. Heather's story became a case study in grassroots justice. Universities cited it. Documentarians called. But Diane always said the same thing. I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because it was right. Today, Diane speaks at law enforcement conferences. Lily, now in college, studies criminal justice. Their story doesn't end with the trial. It lives on in every mother who keeps fighting, every family that refuses to let go. Diane didn't stop at justice. She became an advocate. She founded the Carlisle Foundation for Cold Case Families, providing support to those still searching for answers. She works with police departments to improve protocols for domestic violence and missing persons cases. We can't undo what's been done, but we can change what we do next. Her journey is now a model of persistence, love, and unwavering courage. When the system failed, love didn't. Diane Carlisle's courage reminds us that justice doesn't always come easy, but it does come. If you were moved by this story, like, share, and subscribe to this channel, where real stories find a voice, and the truth is never buried.